Happy Friday, besties. Woo!
It's October.
Oh, gosh.
What?
I can't believe it.
I know.
Spooky season is upon us.
I love it.
Happy Q4 to all who celebrate. Now, let me ask you this. When I worked in my corporate sales job from 20 years ago that we've heard about a little bit, we called it Q4. But lately, I hear a lot of people calling it 4Q. What do y'all call it?
Really? Q4.
Both. 4Q, mostly probably, but either works.
We always said Q4. And I remember when I heard 4Q, it's like you hear those terms and all of a sudden you doubt everything you ever knew. So happy 4QR, 4Q, Q4.
Or Q4.
QR code?
Happy 4Q,
happy
Q4.
Happy time to get all that revenue that in February, like we'll get this in Q4. And you're like, oh shit, it's here.
Oh, I know. Tomato. Q4, 4Q, right? It's just personal preference.
Yeah.
But we made
Whatever your boss says, just say.
Exactly. That's exactly the right thing to do. What the hell is going on? We made it through another week.
Recovering from Vegas.
Anything up? Definitely. I stayed over the weekend.
Yeah, you crazy son of a bitch.
I know. I stayed over the weekend. So I think I had nearly 2 full weeks in Vegas. My skin dry as the Mojave Desert that surrounds Vegas.
Yes,
I mean, geez.
for real.
Oh, man. Because, I'm from a wet place, San Antonio. It is humid. And so I'm used to that moisture. So everything's recovering about me, especially my introversion and all of that. But I had a really good weekend. Did a few bucket list kind of Vegas things. I was behaved. I did not get arrested, so that was good.
Well, there's a big line between behaving and getting arrested, and I hope you lived in that nice gray or maybe sequin area that Vegas can hold.
Exactly. But no, it was good. But yeah, still on recovery. You all too? Still recovering from the Vegas?
I think I'm okay. I took a nice detox, though, from social media this weekend, which is the first time in 4 years that I've even had my pages that I've not posted for a full 48 hours. And that was pretty incredible, not being on. But I also feel so out of touch with everything that's going on because I get so much information from social media. That sounds really sad and pathetic, but
that's where you get your news.
yeah, kind of. I mean, I watch the news, but it's so a lot of the flooding in Asheville, North Carolina, I knew about it from the news, but it's different when you see videos from people posting it. So I'm almost being, it was a nice to have that little 48 hours of not posting and not thinking about posting. But like I said, I just feel out of touch now.
I can't believe you've never taken a break from social.
No, I'm chronically online. It's not cute.
Oh my God. I mean, I have taken weeks off.
Yeah.
Weeks off, to where people are like, are you okay? I should tell people beforehand. I guess I will the next time I do a little hiatus, but it helps. And they say distance makes the heart grow fonder, right? You kind of rediscover your social accounts, right? Were you happy to get back to them or back on them or yeah?
Yes, for sure. For sure. I was ready to post and I had funny memes that I thought of and that I whipped up real quick. But it was a weird, it was definitely a weird feeling though. Just, I don't know. Cause you just you, for instance, Leigh, you send me silly things. Your algorithm is trash, a trash can, and you send funny stuff. And so I miss even things like that, silly videos that
you're wondering what's Leigh's algorithm up to today? What trash has washed up upon shore, right?
Yeah. What's the trash can going to bring me today?
It's like when you've been out of town a couple weeks during garbage day. And so you have a whole stack stacked up. And so you had that awaiting you.
Junk mail. You're going through the junk mail,
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, did I get a check? Did I get a check from Nana? No, but it's political season.
Definitely.
You've got a million ads. Oh, okay, here we are. Well, I think it's I'm so happy. And I noticed that you were offline. I thought that's probably a good thing to take a break. And I was excited to see you back online. But I do think there's a lot of algorithms not algorithms, a lot of, what is that? Allegories with work? Yeah. Similarities with work of if you've been in one of those roles where you're always on, always on, always on. And then you go to a job that has absolute boundaries and you're like almost looking around like, what in the Wizard of Oz is this? Yeah, and so
what is this? Yeah.
If you're a manager in HR or whatever you're doing, if you have sway over your team and your team tends to work constantly, even if it's just saying like, gosh, I realize we're constantly always on. Why don't we just try this weekend? Just take a break. Just take a break. Again, be mindful if you have people on call, things like that, like a healthcare emergency. But if you say that to your team, it can be a way to ease it in because a lot of people are like, oh, I just do it. It's fine out of habit. But then when you have the flip side and have that break, it allows people to actually recharge in the way that we all claim that we do on LinkedIn, but you don't unless you have the support to do it.
Yeah. And I think leaders should be the ones to model that too. And stick by that. If they're saying we're taking 48 hours of true off time, then okay, leader, you have to be the one to stick by that too.
And not be like sending things, being like, but don't worry about it till Monday. Because people are like, well, I'm going to worry about it from Saturday at 2:13 p.m. through absolutely Saturday night at 1:14 a.m. when I can't sleep about this. And so I appreciate you telling me I don't need to, but my brain doesn't hear that.
Exactly. Like actions speak so much louder than words, don't they? I mean, they really, really do. So I love that, Jamie. Like totally model that behavior. Oh, and whether you're an actual like leader on paper or not, right? You can still be a leader within your teams for your peers and create those healthy boundaries, take those breaks. Like, good for you, Jamie. Like, because I cannot believe you haven't taken a break in 4 years. I'm over here like break, you know? But for mental health, oh my gosh, like it's a lot.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and I think, I post memes. Like, it's not like that. It's not that serious. And I know that like I bring joy, not necessarily me, but like my page and some things that I post can bring people joy. So there's some weird guilt I feel if I'm not
to happiness.
Yeah. Like, cause it's not, when obviously you guys are producing like content that's helpful and you have to sit down and film. And usually I'm literally like putting some text over a photo. You know what I mean? So for me, I just feel like there's no break to be had, I guess. So, but it was nice. And I do want to make sure that I'm doing that more often just to have that time with my family, I think.
Oh yeah, you need to. Good for you. See, setting the example, whether you're an influencer, content creator like Jamie or not, we all need breaks. It's just from the constant bombardment of the social shit and just sitting there on your phone. And I mean, all of that, like we all need those breaks. Oh gosh.
I agree. But I like seeing, don't undercut yourself. You bring a lot of joy to a lot of people, including now that you've started to put yourself more into videos on Chief Meme Officer. I love seeing that because I know you've been doing memes and it can be hard. I know how hard it is to start hitting. I know how hard it feels for me. And so I know what it can be like, but putting your face out there, I love when Jamie is posting more on her. So give Jamie some love.
Building the brand.
Building it. Yep.
Go follow her, Chief Meme Officer.
Yep, I'm trying.
When we launched our podcast, we were asked, can we get HR Besties merch? And this was wild to us. And it really happened. Like, it wasn't just our moms asking us, although they do support us. But we had our designer make stuff all cute, like with our logo, wine glasses, sweatshirts, mugs with sayings like, don't make me use my HR voice. But then we thought, okay, how do we sell it? We use Shopify. So we can have our own site and make it easy for our Besties listeners to see what we have and grab it easily. It's much more easily than trying to visit every corporate headquarters ourselves and just show it in person. And although that does sound appealing, we'll stick to Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/HRBesties. That's all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/HRBesties to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/HRBesties.
As you said about you were very dry in Vegas, my lips were so chapped from Vegas because it was like
Yes.
101.
Yes.
There was a heat advisory while we were there. I went outside once, I think.
Same.
And it was literally just to get fresh air.
Like I came down from lunch and lunch had just stopped being served. So I was like, oh, I got to go to the food court. So I'm like, I'm going to take matters into my own hands and walk across the valet, hopefully not get hit by a car because that is the way it would end by me trying to get at 30 seconds of fresh air, and went to my first employer, Subway, and had delicious sub sitting there.
Hashtag conference life, you know, gotta love
Conference life.
Yes,
Well, I'm glad you guys look good because I'm not looking my best these days, according to my tennis opponent earlier in the week.
This makes me want to drive down to Atlanta, just so you know. Yeah, and punch someone in the crotch.
Saw the video. If you haven't yet, go check out this video, everybody. Manager methods.
So if you saw my video this week on Tuesday, I think Monday, gosh, the days blend together, but look back. And it was a video on not asking or assuming that women are pregnant. And in the video, I say not doing that at work or in life. And it was like some things inspired by real life. And so on Sunday, I was playing tennis. For those familiar with Atlanta has this crazy like doubles league called Alta. And I did not play tennis growing up, but I started playing 20 years ago. And so anyway, I was playing a doubles match with my partner, and I had been serving and was hitting. And all of a sudden, my opponents, one of them was yelling like, let, which major basically means like the ball's coming in the court. And she's like, don't move, like crazy. And I was like, so thankfully I listened, as opposed to sometimes, people will say that and you start moving. But so I looked down and there's like a ball at my feet. I'm like, oh, and the woman's partner was like, oh gosh, like that was so loud. And she's like, well, she's pregnant, pointing to me. And it took a second and I look at her and I just stared. And I go, I'm sorry. And her partner looks and points to me. She goes, are you pregnant? And I go, I'm not pregnant. No. And then the person that had said it she saw that moment that we've all seen at times when someone says something they shouldn't. And rather than say, this is my thing, if you do say something like that, recognize, be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, it's going to be awkward no matter what, but own it, as opposed to what she did and starts pointing vaguely at the other court. And she's like, no, I meant her. The other two people on my team, neither of whom are pregnant, on the other court. And was like vaguely like, someone's names start with a B?
Oh, she just had a little freak out.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, she had a freak out.
Totally. And again, like I've had those times when you say something you shouldn't, and you're like, oh my God, spiraling. What do I do?
She just started speaking in tongues.
Total speaks in tongues. And I was like, no, I'm not pregnant, and I'm not an idiot. I know what you said. And she was like, just, and I was just like, it's so awkward. So awkward. But also I probably gained like 5 pounds, in part because I probably haven't been prioritizing my exercise like I need to, especially because I'm running this marathon in March. But I felt so upset because it's so embarrassing. Like that's happened 2 other times, both of which times at least I had like a 6-month-old.
Oh, yeah.
But my kids are 10 and 13. And so I was luckily my partner, she's like 5'10", she was a fitness model. Like she's like, she was like to me, she's like, let's fuck him up. She's like, we are taking this. She's like, what do you, and she was like a combination of Jamie and Leigh in that time. And so she was like, wow, what the fuck do you want me to do? And I'm like laughing. And she's like, I'm sorry. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I think I've made videos about this. I tried to look later and I couldn't find one. So that's why I made one earlier in the week. But she's like, no, ma'am. Girlfriend Paige, she was like, unless you see that baby crowning in the second, you do not acknowledge, you do not guess, you do not assume. And I was like, totally. So Paige gets credit for the line in my video. It's like, unless they're crowning in the conference room. So anyway, note, some people are like, oh, when men say this. No, 3 times in my life, and I can tell you the time, second place this happened. Every time it was females. So just don't please ever do that.
Oh my gosh.
Well, and as you're talking, I'm remembering all the times that it's been said to me too. And I remember being as young as 16 working at TCBY and like having a lady say something to me. And we had like, first of all, we had extra large shirts and I definitely wasn't an extra large, and we had to wear khaki shorts. And so I was like, my stomach wasn't like protruding. Like I remember being so hurt by that. But like here we are. I'm what, 42?
Stays with you.
And that was when I was like 16, maybe 17. And and I'm like still remember that bitch.
It stays with you. And like, I'd like to say I didn't care, but like also when it's one thing if someone says that and you're like, what are you talking about? But of course, in my mind, I'm like, God, I have those 5 pounds to lose. So the haunch, and we lost the match was also, which also.
Oh, I was going to ask, I was hoping you got street justice.
No, so I finished and I called Dan, my husband, and I'm crying because I'm like, well, it's like, right, your most insecurities. And someone she fucked up. She said something she shouldn't, but like, please do not say that.
Just don't, unless the person says I'm pregnant.
Oh gosh.
Don't ever assume. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, we have got to stop making comments on people's bodies, and it honestly, mostly it's females, right? It's women. I mean, look what you shared, Jamie. That stuck with you for however long, if I could do math, right? But I'm in HR. That's a long, long time, And same with me, right? I think of all the times people have made some comment on something, and just. You don't forget it, So, Ashley, you don't think she did that to get to you mentally? Like it was literally just a slip like that? Or do you think they were fucking with you? Were you ahead at the time?
Well, so we lost the first set. We got our asses handed to us. We were up in the second set and we did end up winning a tiebreaker. So we were up, but like people in tennis are crazy. I understand pickleball can be kind of the same and I guess life can be the same and people have angles. If she had done that on purpose, then I will drive back over to Marietta and show up at their tennis court and wait. I don't know when they practice. Then I would have gone crazy. I will assume good intent and thought that she honestly just thought I was pregnant. I'm not. But so like that would be next level. And it is not beneath. And so like, hopefully we don't get comments of people, but I guarantee you people will say of like things like that, like in sports or at work when people will make that savage comment.
Psychological warfare. For sure. That's where my mind went. I was like, she did that to get you off your game.
That's a very good point, though. I didn't even think about that.
Like, if somebody else said that, they're like, oh, she's just trying to mess with you. And I was like, no. I mean,
savage.
But anyway, it didn't. And I was like, and I'm like, I'm mouthing. Like, I don't like drama. I don't like drama ever. I certainly don't like drama on the tennis court. But I was like mouthing. It's like, this is some Alta shit right here. I'm like, this is such some Alta. And trying to pretend like you didn't just say it. Like, I'm like, burr, 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 because all I wanted to do was leave. Like, I want to leave and get in my car and cry by myself and not have to sit here face to face and pretend like I'm happy or just not feeling anger and embarrassment. So. But it's the other. And so a lot of the comments you've seen things like that of like people that are women that might be of childbearing age, the comments that you get there of people like, are you going to be trying? Like, that's so weird. Like,
yeah, that's so weird. Are you doing it? Yeah, that's so weird.
Yeah, are you doing it? Are you having protection? Like, it's weird. Like, but I've had that question asked to me. Like, are you planning on having kids in the year? Because if you weren't, you'd be like the first. You'd be like when I started as a new associate in the law firms. I was like, I don't know, 26, let's say. One of the assistants had said, like, well, I guarantee you're going to pump out that baby as soon as you're eligible for maternity leave. If you don't, you'd be the first. And I was like,
what the fuck?
What? Like,
well. I'll tell you a story. We had someone on our team recently come back from maternity leave, and I was talking about how I would love to hold the baby and smell the baby, and my boss looks at me dead in the eyes, and she said, "Don't get any ideas, bitch." Bitch. I just am talking about how I want to hold the baby.
And I'm like, you're like, why? Like, it's not like we're getting it in the U.S. Like, our global audiences are like,
oh my God,
like,
I know.
Canadian colleagues, and they're like, I'll see you in a year, I'll see you in 2 years, all that. In the U.S., it's not like you're getting anything. They're like, I'll see you in about 5.5 minutes after you have that baby. So,
literally 6 to 8 weeks.
No paid leaves in the U.S. A lot of people don't know that. I was on business travel last year and shared that at a dinner party. No paid maternity leaves. They're like, what? I was like, yeah, it's like us and 2 other countries, Pakistan and Syria or something. I mean, like literally, So they were like, what? You don't get paid? What? And so then I had to explain, how, so just, gosh.
Yeah, just don't fucking assume people.
Deep in the ocean, an orca pod is on the hunt. But these aren't your average orcas. These guys are organized.
Marketing team, did you get those social media posts scheduled for the SEAL migration?
Aye, Captain. We even have an automated notification for all pod managers when they go live.
They use Monday.com to keep their teamwork sharp, their communication clear, and their goals in sight. Monday.com. For whatever you run, even orcas. Go to Monday.com to dive deeper.
Well, damn, Ashley. I'm sorry, but I think she was trying to mess with you. I really do. Personally, I think she's that sinister. You went up ahead a little bit on the set. That's why I asked what the status was. You had that tiebreaker, and then it was going into something pretty dramatic, especially with her partner coming in like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that was planned. So I really don't think you look pregnant personally. Not that it's any of my business, and you didn't ask me, and I know you didn't. Okay? I know you didn't. So don't give them that mental space, because they were doing that to mess with you. And poof, and then they won. Look, bitches.
I know now. And now they jumped over us in the place as well for the standings too.
Gosh, did they? So they never apologized, right?
No, never.
Of course not. See, that's why it was on purpose.
Yeah, see, I would be mortified.
Yes, if that was not on purpose.
Yeah.
I would have apologized 413 times. And and I would have been like, I'm just going to give up. My partner would have killed me, because I would have been like, I got to forfeit. I'm so sorry. The least I can do is give you the point. I'm so sorry. Oh my God, I've had that. That's so awful. Nobody should ever say that. I'd still be talking about it. I'd be standing there to this day. But
That's what tells me it's on purpose. Think about it. You know what I'm saying?
I know my other opponent on the other court was, or my other, like another teammate on the other court later was like, what was happening during the match? Did somebody say pregnant? And I was like,
oh my gosh, mortified.
Sure did, at me. She's like, what the? Yeah.
Oh.
So just when you escape, like I've seen people I know crying on the tennis court. I've said it to partners before, like in mixed doubles. I had a match this summer, and I said to someone who was a man, who was like my partner, but he was rude. And every time I'd hit, like if he missed a shot, he'd be like, oh, I need you to get that. Finally, I was like, listen, I do not play this game to feel worse about myself. It is a weekend. Like, but it's like that. Like, just
God. Have you all ever faux pod like that? I did it once, okay? I did it once, but I didn't say, are you pregnant? I said, congrats. And they looked at me kind of confused. On what? I was like, just everything going on in your life. So I smoothed it out. But I'll tell you what, I would have bet money in Vegas. That's what I mean. I would have bet money in Vegas. It was perfectly, it was 6 months pregnant. Look, it was perfect. The weight distribution, perfect. I would have bet money. And so I just said, congrats. And they're like, on what? On everything going on in your life, girl. It is so great to see you.
They're listening now, and they're going to be like, I knew it.
20 years ago. Oh,
was it Heather that never gave you the response back to the, gave you the response from the interview?
I'd go up to her and fuck with her. Heather, are you pregnant? She's like 60. I don't know. But
Jamie, have you put about anything like that?
Not that I can remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, you'd remember.
Yeah, not that I can remember. I've embarrassed myself for sure, but not that I've...
Not on the pregnancy thing.
Yeah, at least not on the pregnant thing, I don't think.
Oh my gosh.
No, not on that. And partially is because, maybe not partially. I definitely have had the experience myself. Like I was like 32, I think the first time someone said that to me. But just take this lesson. If you've never had this experience, you take it as a lesson from your Friday happy hour to please not do that at work or life.
Yeah.
So,
and it wasn't a stranger, thankful. I'm trying to over here justify it. I was young, okay. It wasn't someone I went to high school with, but anyways. Oh man. I just said congrats.
Can you imagine walking up to some of the grocery store? Congrats on everything. And like, people would go on LinkedIn and they'd be like, I was at the grocery store and someone just came up to me and said, congrats on everything in life. life. And that spurred on my success.
Yeah, well, we hadn't seen each other since it was a kind of, it made sense. Whatever.
You're good.
But, I was weird then. I'm still weird. So fuck. She's probably like, this fucking weird bitch. She's still weird, since high school. But you know what this makes me think of? And I laugh. I mean, a couple of times I've cried laughing every time it comes up, but it's that meme of Paris Hilton that's kissing that random woman like in a village.
Pregnant.
Yes.
Because she thought she was pregnant. Like what? Was that real? I don't even know. I'm looking at Jamie like she knows the accuracy of every meme,
I'm like 99% sure that was real. And she really thought,
so at least we didn't, that we didn't do that.
Yeah, at least it wasn't photographed and created into a meme for years and years to come.
And you're being kissed.
Congrats. On what? On everything.
Congrats.
Your whole life.
On everything, girl.
When you said faux pas, I was like, I was clenching my
your womb.
Obviously my non-existent abs.
I was like, your pearls, your butthole.
But yeah, so that's it. So that's our weekend thing. So I'll be doing all the things.
So you'll be in recovery for that for the next few years.
I've been. So I've gotten up. I work. I mean, I will. I'm gonna when I get into my shape that I aspire to be in, I'm going to show back up there. I'm going to email the Alta coordinator, make sure we have another match scheduled. And it's going to be, is your sister, wasn't your sister on this team? Your pregnant sister? Here I am. I'm back.
Oh, she did it on purpose.
But if life gives you lemonades, make content. That's what I say now. So.
Exactly. Yeah. You had the last word. So that's nice. You've taught lessons. Someone's going to stop themselves here after listening to this,
But I posted it on LinkedIn as well. And now videos on LinkedIn, like as of the last few weeks, like videos are going kind of wild on LinkedIn. And so you start getting some comments. Usually I'll get comments from the same 10 people who I'm like, I love my LinkedIn besties. I just got a comment before our happy hour that I'd seen. It was like, so now we can't celebrate the life achievements of anyone at work. This is why I'll never work in a company that has an HR department.
Oh, get fucked. Glenn.
I'll put it on our HR besties.
Look at me going to your LinkedIn right now.
Oh my, how did he get to that point mentally? That is so bizarre,
Well, especially on LinkedIn when people put things on their own name, maybe real, maybe fake.
I know, that is fascinating, but that's what we're dealing with. That is why we have HR, because of that man right there, actually, just FYI, you know what I mean? Oh man, they say it takes all types, but does it really? You know what I mean? I don't know.
No, I think some types could remove themselves from the workforce and just take a break. And I think we would not actually need HR as much as we would. So anyway,
could be excluded.
But happy Friday.
Yeah,
we might not be required at that point if people actually use their brains. Oh
my gosh. Oh. Well, congrats on that note, just on everything going on in life, Congrats. Oh.